Hey there, wild souls. Welcome back to the human wild, where we dig into the raw, untamed roots of what makes us human. Picture this. It's a crisp winter evening in 9th century Norway, the kind of night where the stars burn like tiny fires against a sky so dark it feels alive. Inside a Viking longhouse, the golden glow of the hearthfire dances across wooden beams, casting shadows that seem to whisper tales of gods and heroes. The air is thick with the scent of pine, wool, and a faint tang of smoked fish. As the household gathers, wrapping themselves in furs, they're not just settling in for the night, they're stepping into a ritual, a kind of sleep so deep, so restorative, it might just be the best humans have ever known. Today, we're not just talking about sleep, we're journeying back to the Viking Age to uncover why the Norse people, those fierce warriors and explorers, might have been the greatest sleepers in history. So, grab a blanket, dim the lights, and let's step into a world where rest was as natural as the tides. Imagine you're Bjorn Haraldsson, a farmer in the rugged Trondheim region. Your day starts at dawn, the pale light creeping over the fjords as you haul timber, mend fences, or check on your livestock. The cold bites at your fingers, but the work warms you, each task a testament to survival in this harsh, beautiful land. By the time the sun dips below the horizon, early in these northern winters, maybe 4 or 5 p.m., your muscles ache in that satisfying way, like you've earned every ounce of fatigue. You step into the longhouse, where the hearthfire crackles, its warmth pulling everyone together. Dinner is simple but hearty. A bowl of barley porridge, some smoked herring, maybe a scoop of skyr, that tangy, yogurt-like dairy the Vikings loved. You eat early, hours before bed, letting your body settle as you listen to your uncle spin a tale about a sea voyage or a trickster god. The fire dies down, the world outside grows still, and you climb onto your sleeping platform, a raised wooden bench piled with straw, wool, and furs. The darkness is absolute. No streetlights or glowing screens to keep you awake. You close your eyes, not chasing some perfect 8-hour block, but sinking into what the Vikings called furfin, the first sleep. This first sleep isn't the end of your night. It's just the start. After about 4 hours, you wake naturally, not because you're stressed or your phone pinged, but because your body is tuned to a rhythm we've nearly forgotten. This is biphasic sleep, a pattern where you rest in 2 chunks, split by a quiet, wakeful period in the middle of the night. You might stoke the fire, its embers glowing softly, or step outside to check the livestock, the cold air sharp against your face. Maybe you share a whispered conversation with your wife about tomorrow's chores, or sip a bit of ale by the hearth. This midnight waking, lasting an hour or 2, isn't insomnia, it's normal, even sacred. The sagas, those epic Norse tales, describe it as a time for reflection, rituals, or quiet tasks. Then you slip back to your furs for Odfen, the second sleep, drifting until dawn pulls you back to the world. This rhythm, etched into the Viking way of life, wasn't just practical. It was perfectly aligned with how our bodies are wired. Modern sleep science, like the work of historian A. Roger Kirch, tells us this biphasic pattern was the norm for most of human history. Before electric lights and rigid work schedules, people didn't obsess over cramming all their rest into one stretch. They slept in 2 phases with a wakeful period in between, and it was as natural as breathing. For the Vikings, living in Scandinavia's extreme latitudes, this made perfect sense. Winter nights could stretch 16 to 20 hours, way too long to sleep straight through. Breaking it up let them tend to the fire, check for wolves, or even visit neighbors, all while their bodies got the rest they needed. Kirch's research shows this midnight waking triggers a surge of prolactin, a hormone that brings calm and well-being, like a natural reset for your brain. The Vikings didn't know the science, but they lived it, their bodies syncing with the dark like a dance they'd been practicing for generations. Let's linger in Bjorn's longhouse to see why this setup was so special. These homes were built for survival, long, low structures of wood and turf, with thick walls to keep out the cold. Windows? Almost none. Maybe a small hole covered with animal hide. But mostly, the only light came from the hearth, banked low at night to a faint glow. When you closed your eyes, You were wrapped in a darkness so complete it's hard for us to imagine. Modern sleep researchers would kill for this environment. Darkness isn't just the absence of light, it's a signal to your pineal gland to pump out melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. In our world, streetlights, LEDs, and phone screens blast blue light, suppressing melatonin and making sleep elusive. For Bjorn, the darkness was a lullaby, wrapping him in a cocoon of calm that let him sink into deep, restorative sleep. The bedding itself was another piece of the puzzle. Forget memory foam or fluffy mattresses. Bjorn's bed was a wooden platform, raised off the damp ground, layered with straw, woolen blankets, and maybe a bearskin if he was lucky. The straw, fresh and springy, molded to his body while keeping his spine aligned. Wool and furs wick away moisture, keeping him warm without overheating, even in the freezing Nordic winters. Modern studies, like one from the Journal of Chiropractic Medicine, say medium-firm surfaces like this are better for your back than the super soft beds we often sink into. Plus, the Vikings swapped their straw regularly, keeping things fresh and free of dust mites. Unlike our sealed-up mattresses that can harbor allergens for years, it's like they were sleeping on a prototype of the organic mattresses we pay thousands for today, but they got it right with just what nature gave them. This wasn't just about a cozy bed, though. Bjorn's whole day set him up for this moment. His work, chopping wood, tending fields, rowing boats, burned 3,000 to 4,000 calories, all under the open sky. Modern sleep science says this kind of exertion, especially in natural light, is a recipe for deep, slow-wave sleep, the kind that repairs your body and refreshes your mind. Compare that to our sedentary lives, where we might squeeze in a 30-minute workout under fluorescent gym lights. The Vikings were out in the elements, soaking up daylight, which helped regulate their circadian rhythms, that internal clock that tells you when to sleep and wake. Their diet, too, was a sleep booster: fish, barley, oats, and fermented skyr, eaten hours before bed, packed with tryptophan and omega-3s that modern research links to better rest. It's like their lives were a masterclass in biohacking, without a single app or gadget. But it wasn't just biology. The Vikings had a mindset we've lost. They didn't lie awake stressing about hitting 8 hours or checking a sleep tracker. Sleep was just part of life, like eating or breathing. The Havamal, a collection of Norse wisdom, talks about balance, not sleeping all day but not staying up worrying either. The unwise man is awake all night, worrying about everything. It says, and when morning comes, he's tired, and his troubles are just as they were. Sound familiar? We're the ones up at 2 a.m., doom-scrolling or fretting about tomorrow's meeting. The Vikings told stories by the fire, let their minds unwind, and trusted sleep would come. Modern psychology says this attitude, valuing rest without obsessing, is the holy grail of sleep hygiene. As the fire's glow fades, you can almost hear the soft snores of Bjorn's family, the longhouse a haven of warmth and safety. This is where the Viking night begins, a world where darkness, work, and community come together to create something extraordinary. Let's keep going, stepping deeper into that darkness to see how it shaped their sleep in ways we can barely imagine today. The darkness in Bjorn's longhouse isn't just a backdrop. It's a character in this story, as vital as the people themselves. Living in Scandinavia, where winter nights could stretch 16 to 20 hours, the Vikings were immersed in a darkness so deep it's almost alien to us. Step into Leif's world, a fisherman on Norway's rugged coast near modern-day Bergen. His days are spent hauling nets and rowing through icy waters, the wind biting at his face. When he steps into his longhouse at night, the world goes black. No streetlights, no glowing screens, just the faint flicker of the hearth, banked low to save fuel. The walls, made of turf and timber, block out even the starlight, and any small openings are covered with animal hides. This isn't just cozy, it's a sleep scientist's dream. Modern research, like a study in the Journal of Sleep Research, shows that true darkness boosts melatonin production by 30%, syncing your sleep with the sun's rhythm. Leif's pineal gland was working overtime, pumping out melatonin for 12 to 16 hours in winter, creating a sleep so deep it was practically a superpower. The Vikings weren't completely without light, of course. They had fires, oil lamps, maybe a candle made from tallow or beeswax. But these were nothing like our modern lights. Archaeological experiments with Viking oil lamps show they gave off 5 to 20 lumens. Barely a glow compared to the 800 to 1,500 lumens of an LED bulb. Their light was warm, yellow-red, not the blue heavy spectrum of our screens that tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Modern studies say blue light can delay melatonin by up to 3 hours, but the Vikings' dim, warm glow barely touched their circadian rhythms. And they used it sparingly. Candles and oil were labor-intensive, so the Havamals' advice to be frugal with resources rang true. The result? A sleep environment where darkness ruled, letting their bodies fully surrender to rest. In summer, when the midnight sun kept the sky bright for 20 hours, the Vikings got clever. Archaeological digs in Iceland show heavy wool curtains or turf walls built to block light in sleeping areas. In Egil's saga, there's talk of arranging chambers to minimize light, a sign they knew darkness was key. They even paid attention to the moon. The Norse calendar was lunar, and sagas like Snorri Sturluson's Prose Edda hint at tracking its phases. Modern research confirms full moons can make it harder to fall asleep, even if you can't see the light. The Vikings, attuned to these cycles, might have adjusted their habits, maybe sipping a stronger herbal tea on bright nights. It's like they were in a constant dance with nature, tweaking their lives to stay in step. This dance extended to how they slept, not alone but together in a way that feels wild and human to us now. Picture Leif's longhouse, a long, narrow space with a central hearth and raised platforms along the walls. These weren't private beds. They were shared, where the whole household, from Leif to his kids to the farmhands, bunked down together. At Stong, a Viking farmstead in Iceland, archaeologists found these platforms lined with straw and furs, built for warmth and community. This wasn't just about staying warm in the Nordic chill, though that was huge. It was about security, the kind that lets your brain switch off its guard dog mode. Sagas like Njal's saga tell of someone waking to a strange noise, alerting the household to danger. Modern sleep science, like studies in sleep health, says feeling safe and connected boosts sleep quality. And the Vikings had this in spades, surrounded by the soft breathing of their kin. This communal setup was more than practical, it was psychological rocket fuel. Imagine being a Viking kid, tucked between your parents, the fire's glow fading as stories linger. That closeness, that sense of belonging, calmed your nervous system, letting you drift off without a shred of loneliness. Research on co-sleeping in traditional cultures shows kids in these setups have fewer sleep issues, building a lifelong sense of security. Even for adults, the psychological boost was real. In Grettir's saga, the hero, an outlaw sleeping alone, misses the comfort of his household's shared warmth. But privacy, they had that covered too. Digs in York show textile dividers or bed closets for the household heads. And that midnight waking period we talked about was perfect for quiet moments of intimacy or reflection. The Vikings balanced community and personal space, making their nights work for everyone. As the seasons turned, so did their sleeping arrangements. In winter, everyone huddled close, piling on furs to share body heat. In summer, with milder nights, some might sleep in outbuildings or under the stars, giving a bit more room. This rhythm of closeness and distance, seen in archaeological patterns, kept the household tight-knit without suffocating. It's a stark contrast to our modern private bedrooms, where we're often alone with our thoughts, ears pricked for every creak. The Vikings' nights were a symphony of connection, darkness, and rest, each note building on the last to create something extraordinary. That symphony played out on their beds, which were as practical as they were ingenious. Step into Astrid's world, a farmer's wife near Trondheim. Her bed is a wooden platform, raised 40 to 60 centimeters off the damp ground, built into the longhouse wall. Digs across Scandinavia, from Denmark's Firket to Newfoundland's Lance aux meadows, show these platforms were standard, sturdy, simple, and perfect for the climate. Astrid layers hers with fresh straw, chosen for its springiness, then coarse woolen blankets, and, if she's lucky, a sheepskin or bearskin. This wasn't just cozy, it was ergonomic. Modern research, like a Journal of Chiropractic Medicine study, says medium-firm surfaces like straw support spinal alignment better than soft mattresses that let your back sag. The straw breathed, letting air circulate to keep her cool in summer and warm in winter, while regular changes kept it free of dust mites, unlike our allergen-trapping foam mattresses. Wool was the unsung hero here. Experimental archaeology shows it stayed warm even in damp conditions, thanks to lanolin, which also fights bacteria. The Oseberg ship burial in Norway turned up bear and fox hides, prized for both status and insulation. Modern sleep science loves this setup. Wool and furs create a microclimate that regulates body temperature, wicking away sweat to keep you comfortable. Astrid's platform was slightly inclined, as Diggs at Firkett show, raising her head just enough to aid circulation and breathing, a trick doctors now recommend for acid reflux or respiratory issues. Even her pillow, a firm leather cushion stuffed with feathers or moss, found in York Diggs, was ahead of its time. Studies say firm headrests maintain neck alignment better than our overstuffed pillows, reducing morning aches. Astrid's bed was the endpoint of a day built for sleep. Her life was physical, spinning wool, hauling water, grinding grain. Skeletal remains show women with muscle wear from these tasks, while men's bones bear marks of rowing or building. This wasn't a gym routine, it was survival, burning 3,000 to 4,000 calories daily. Modern research in sleep medicine reviews says this kind of exertion, especially outdoors, boosts slow-wave sleep, where your body repairs and your mind resets. Astrid worked in daylight, soaking up natural light that synced her circadian rhythm, as Journal of Sleep Research studies confirm is key for rest. Her evenings tapered off with lighter tasks, storytelling, weaving by the fire, matching modern advice to avoid intense activity before bed. She had another trick: herbs. Diggs at Jorvik found seeds of valerian, hops, and chamomile, natural sedatives we still use. Astrid might brew a valerian tea, its earthy taste softened with honey, or burn lavender by the hearth, its scent calming the room. Modern studies say valerian cuts sleep latency, hops boost sleep quality, and chamomile's apigenin soothes the brain. These weren't random brews. Sagas like Egil's Saga mention drinks for the restless, and Diggs in Norway show healers' huts with herb-storing containers. Astrid might pair her tea with a quiet chant, blending medicine with ritual. Psychology says this placebo effect can amplify a remedy's power, and the Vikings leaned into it, especially in summer when bright nights called for stronger sedatives. Her days, her bed, her herbs, they all flowed together, each piece building on the last to create a sleep that was as natural as the fjords outside. But let's shift to the table, because what the Vikings ate was just as crucial to their rest. Picture Halfdan, another Trondheim farmer, sitting down to his mid-morning dagver. His plate holds barley bread, smoked salmon, and skyr washed down with a low-alcohol ale. Hours later, for Natver, he digs into a stew of oats, root vegetables, and mutton. These meals, timed for mid-morning and late afternoon, are done by 5 p.m., leaving 3 or 4 hours before bed. The sagas and archaeological residues confirm this pattern, and modern research in the Journal of Clinical Sleep Medicine says it's gold. Eating early lets your body digest before sleep, avoiding disruptions to REM or sleep architecture. Halfdan's early meals weren't a diet plan. They were practical, tied to daylight and work, but they set him up for rest in a way our late-night pizzas don't. His food itself was a sleep booster. Diggs and isotope analysis show a diet high in protein, fish, mutton, dairy, packed with tryptophan, a precursor to melatonin and serotonin. Fatty fish like herring and salmon, staples in coastal sites, are rich in omega-3s and vitamin D, which studies link to better sleep. Grains like barley, rye, and oats, found carbonized in Viking settlements, provide complex carbs that stabilize blood sugar, reducing sleep latency without the spike simple sugars cause. Honey was their main sweetener, used sparingly, dodging the sleep-wrecking sugar rushes we get from soda or snacks. Fermented foods, skyr, fermented fish, preserved veggies were huge, boosting GABA and gut health, which modern research ties to better sleep through the gut-brain axis. Take skyr, that creamy dairy. Residue analysis shows it was a staple, rich in calcium, tryptophan, and vitamin D, a melatonin trifecta. Fermented fish, found in cooking vessels, amps up omega-3 bioavailability, while sourdough bread, confirmed by preserved starters, makes magnesium and zinc easier to absorb. These minerals, modern studies say, relax muscles and support sleep pathways. The Vikings' diet shifted with the seasons. Winter leaned on preserved foods like dried fish, rich in tryptophan, while summer brought fresh veggies and dairy, loaded with antioxidants for melatonin. This rhythm, seen in midden remains, kept their nutrition in sync with light cycles, stabilizing sleep year-round. Hydration played a role too. Well constructions and vessel residues show they drank water, whey, and weak ale, sipped moderately to avoid nighttime bathroom trips. Modern research says dehydration fragments sleep, but the Vikings' habits kept them hydrated without overdoing it. Even their ale, at 2 to 3% alcohol, was mild enough to ease sleep onset without trashing REM, unlike our stronger brews. Sagas suggest heavy drinking was for feasts, not daily, keeping its impact on sleep low. Halfdan's meals, timed right and packed with nutrients, were like fuel for a restful night, flowing seamlessly into the physical demands of his days. Those demands were no joke. Picture Gunnar, a shipbuilder on Norway's coast, rowing out at dawn to gather timber, his arms straining against the oars. His day is a blur of chopping, lifting, shaping wood, work that burns 3,000 to 4,000 calories, as experimental archaeology estimates. Skeletal remains show men with lopsided shoulders from rowing, women with wear from grinding grain. Even high-status Vikings, buried with fancy goods, have bones marked by exertion. Modern research in sleep medicine reviews says this mix of resistance and aerobic exercise, done outdoors, is a sleep superpower, boosting slow-wave sleep where your body rebuilds. Gunnar's work in daylight, soaking up natural light, synced his circadian rhythm, as Journal of Sleep Research Studies confirm is key for rest. His evenings tapered off naturally, carving, planning, storytelling by the fire. This matches modern advice to avoid intense activity before bed, letting your body ease into rest. Seasons shaped this too. Summer's long days meant more work. Winter's darkness brought rest, as tool use patterns show. The Vikings even carved out recovery time. Bathhouses, found in settlements, and saga mentions of hot baths show they soaked to unwind. A trick research says drops your core temperature for better sleep. The Havamals call for moderation. Cattle die, kindred die. Hints at pacing yourself, avoiding burnout. Their work was often communal with songs or stories, boosting sleep through social connection, as sleep medicine reviews studies confirm. Gunnar's physical life, hard, outdoor, balanced, flowed into his nights, where his mind took over to seal the deal. That mind, that Viking psyche, was as crucial as their muscles. Picture Astrid again, settling in as her father-in-law spins a saga about Thor's battles. She's not fretting about sleep goals. She's listening, her mind unwinding. The Havamal nails this vibe. Don't sleep all day, but don't stay up worrying either. The unwise man is awake all night, and when morning comes, he's weary. Modern psychology says obsessing over sleep fuels insomnia, but the Vikings saw rest as natural, not a performance. Their evenings, filled with storytelling, were a masterclass in cognitive decompression, easing the mind into rest, as sleep medicine studies recommend over screen time. Their view of dreams was wild and beautiful. Sagas like Gisla Saga treat dreams as messages from gods or ancestors, not random noise. This reverence, backed by amulets found near beds, reduced sleep anxiety, unlike later Christian fears of demonic dreams. Modern research says positive dream attitudes boost sleep quality. The Vikings' belief in WYRD fate helped too. The Havamals' advice to accept what you can't control mirrors mindfulness, cutting pre-sleep rumination, as psychology confirms. Honor was big too. Sagas show guilt, like in Grettir's saga, stealing sleep, while a clear conscience, modern studies say, supports REM. Communal sleeping, with family close, added psychological safety, letting Astrid's brain relax, as sleep health studies link to better rest. Winter feasts, seen in feast hall digs, and solstice rituals, marked by stone alignments, gave hope during dark months, reducing anxiety, as psychology suggests. The Vikings' mind balanced, connected, accepting, made sleep a haven, not a battle. Now let's tie it all together with Thorvald, our shipbuilder. His life is a tapestry. Biphasic sleep syncing with his biology, darkness boosting melatonin, communal beds fostering safety, straw and fur bedding supporting his body, herbs like valerian easing his mind, meals of fish and oats fueling rest, and hard days in daylight priming deep sleep. His mindset, trusting, honorable, unworried, seals it. Modern science, from research to sleep medicine, says this is the gold standard, yet we've lost it to lights, schedules, and stress. The Vikings' sleep eroded over time. Candles, then LEDs stole darkness. Industrial clocks forced rigid sleep. Private rooms traded connection for isolation. Processed foods and sedentary lives broke the rhythm. But we can reclaim it. Dim your lights, try a nap. Use wool bedding, eat early, move outside, sip chamomile, tell a story, let go of sleep anxiety. The Vikings didn't optimize rest. They lived it wild and human. So, tonight, dim the world, feel your day's weight, and let sleep come naturally. That's the Viking way, and it's calling us home. If this journey into the Viking night sparked something in you, drop a comment. Tell us your sleep struggles or what you'll try from these ancient ways. Hit that subscribe button and join the human wild for more stories that reconnect us to our roots. Let's keep the fire burning, and I'll see you in the next adventure.